6 p.m. in Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region, same time in Baturi in the East region of Cameroon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe TV. First, our major stories tonight. The killing of 9 separatist fighters in Dongamantom Division, Northwest region, sparks renewed calls for a ceasefire and inclusive dialogue to resolve Cameroon's Anglophone crisis. Observers are reiterating that there is no military solution to the conflict, emphasizing the need for a negotiated settlement. And away from that, the clock is ticking and Cameroonians are losing patience. President Paul Biya, during his December 31st end-of-year address to the nation, announced a new government will be formed in the days ahead. But 7 days later, the political landscape remains unchanged. Is this a sign of indecision or a clever delay tactic? Find out in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. Once more, good evening, and thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. This is a 6 p.m. primetime newscast, and for presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Cameroon's military honors dozens of officers from the Air Force, Navy and Land Forces in Limbe for their exemplary service, recognizing their crucial role in combating maritime crime, smuggling and armed violence. With key figures promoted, hopes are high that these threats, which have gained traction in Fako Division, will be significantly reduced or eliminated. Rex Afon reports.
Across the Air Force, Navy and Land Forces, a total of 2 lieutenant colonels, 4 commanders, 5 captains, 6 sub-lieutenants, 26 sub-officers, and 44 non-commissioned officers were recognized for their outstanding service to the nation. Among them, the Idinal B commander, now promoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel, the Fako Gendarmerie Company commander, who has been elevated to a full commander, and the head of the National Oil Refinery Defense Unit, now a lieutenant de vaisseau or captain.
The new rank comes with a lot of challenges. So henceforth, we are anticipating much more greater challenges ahead that are coming of us, much tasks that are coming ahead of us, especially with the security challenges at hand.
The ceremony presided over by the senior divisional officer for Fako, Viang Mekala, and led by Navy Captain Eric Akoto Landrin, took place in a purely military fashion.
We hope, and I hope, together with the population, we shall work hands together to combat the new challenges that goes with my new rank.
Key amongst what awaits these newly promoted officers is the fight against maritime crime and also the smuggling of illicit products into Cameroon via Idinao, as well as curbing the activities of armed groups within the region.
Rex Afon reporting from Limbe in the southwest region of Cameroon. And before coming back to major elements of tonight's newscast, let's take you to Morocco, where transport in Agadir has become notably more accessible, with residents enjoying affordable options like interurban buses and taxis. However, despite government's effort to clamp down on unauthorized services, illegal transport operators still go about their activities. A report in Morocco, Smajikan Gabriel provides an in-depth look at the structure and challenges of Agadir's transport system, shedding light on how authorities are working to balance accessibility with regulation. His report.
In Agadir, urban transport options are both affordable and diverse, allowing the local population and visitors to easily move around the city and its surroundings. The Alsa bus network, undoubtedly the most used means of transport, is a central element of urban transport in Agadir. The service is known for its quality of vehicles, which are recent and air-conditioned tours offering a pleasant comfort. It covers a wide range of the city, including areas that are sometimes eccentric and difficult to access. With well-organized and carefully arranged stops, buses allow for fluidity of traffic both in central and peripheral areas. The stops are numerous and well indicated. They allow passengers to climb and descend easily, making daily transport more practical. The price for a trip on the Alsa bus is around 4 to 5 dirhams, which is equivalent to 300 francs CFA. Payment can be made directly on board or via a rechargeable card. Students benefit a reduced rate thanks to a special card with a monthly subscription of 90 dirham, which is around 4,900 francs CFA, thus facilitating their movement within town. Although the bus is the most economical means of transport, some inhabitants opt for small red taxis, especially for faster journey or to avoid the crowd of buses. The red taxis, which take at least 4 passengers, have prices varying between 10 to 50 dirhams. For the trips that require more space, the large yellow and white taxis are preferred, able to accommodate up to 6 passengers. These taxis are mainly for interurban trips or for longer trips inside the city. Unlike the red taxis, large taxis do not have a counter. The price is negotiated at the start of the journey. Although more expensive than the buses or small taxis, it remains a practical alternative, especially for groups or those who are looking for a little more space. However, these taxis only leave when they are full, which can sometimes lead to a delay in waiting. In Agadi, it is possible to find these informal services via applications on social media networks. These car services operate outside the legal framework of the public transport in Morocco and Agadi. Transport fare, whether on Alsa buses, in small red or large taxis, there are many options to facilitate travel in the city and beyond.
In the same vein, Morocco's capital Rabat is setting the bar high with one of Africa's top bus stations, built in just 36 months at a cost of 115 million dirham, that's about 9 billion francs CFA. The facility was inaugurated by King Mohammed XVI. But the seat, unlike Cameroon's bursting bus stations, Rabat's hub is a model of efficiency, as Magic Gabriel tells us.
An external view of the bus station of Rabat with an architecture of dream gives an overview of an infrastructure realized with a futuristic vision. The interior confirms the expectations. Everything is made to offer travelers comfort and quality of service. No persons to discuss with passengers, nor anarchical packed buses. Even less noise coming from drinking spots. On the screen, the travel plans are well presented. Each passenger is free according to his wish to purchase ticket, which is made at one of the different stations using either cash or bank cards, which are accepted. Once the ticket is acquired by the traveler, he goes directly to the boarding area, which is at the lower level of the floor, presenting his ticket on the fast lanes to access the quay and join the bus. Located in El Riyadh, the Rabat bus station was inaugurated by King Mohammed VI on November 28, 2022, and went operational few days later, precisely on December 1 of the same year. It has 46 cars and a long-term parking of 22 seats. An exterior parking is also furnished for cars and taxis, as well as restaurants and commercial spaces. We have separated the departure and the arrival zones, that is to say, at the level of the quays, to allow the march forward and guarantee a separation of flows between the departure and arrivals. We also have an exceptional luggage area for people who want to transport exceptional luggages that will not pass through the station. Built on more than 8 hectares with a covered surface of 21,671 meters square, it can accommodate up to 10,000 passengers per day. The access roads and even those inside have been bifurcated. Launched on October 27, 2017, the construction work of the Rabat bus stop lasted for 36 months and cost the Moroccan government 160 million dirham, which is about 9.6 billion francs CFA.
Thanks a bunch, Magic and Gable, for helping us discover Morocco in those reports. And now back to our hometown, Cameroon calls for a ceasefire in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest region of Cameroon and a genuine and inclusive dialogue to resolve the Anglophone problem rise to the sky again after the killing of 9 separatist fighters in Donga Mantum division of the northwest region. Observers once more reiterate the point that there is no major solution to the conflict that has been ongoing for the past 9 years. More with Babila Jonathan.
Nous sommes à Mbonla, la zone de Mbonso. Nous sommes le 6 janvier 2026. Voilà les éléments et les éléments d'Imbasa. Imbasa lui-même. Ouais, vous allez voir.
A voice attributed to a military officer of Cameroon's Defense and Security Forces celebrating the killing of 9 former British Southern Cameroon's independence fighters in the Ndonga Mantung division in the northwest region. Their leader, known as Bansa, and 8 others were gunned down in a place known as Infap in Bonchari, in the Monso area of Nous subdivision. Despite the continuous striking and killing of armed civilians, the Anglophone crisis has been raging on for close to 10 years.
La crise anglophone ne va jamais se régler, ne trouvera jamais une solution par la violence, encore moins par les armes à feu.
Civil society leader Philippe Nanga says that military force, guns, violence from whatever direction will not resolve the conflict.
Buying AK-47s on both sides of the fight to come and fight each other, brother fighting brother. Buying armor cars, littering them on the streets of Bamenda and the streets of Boya, as what we are seeing as of today. It doesn't make sense. It tells of a leader who have chosen not to listen to the voice of his people. Cameroonians are killing Cameroonians for no just cause. The military option will never bring a lasting solution to it, because this thing is in the vein, it is in the spirit of the people.
Arracher des vies humaines ne fera qu'aggraver la situation à long terme.
According to Philippe Nanga, killing people will only worsen the situation in the long run. Political analysts, observers, and national and international organizations have been calling for an inclusive dialogue to find lasting solutions to the problem.
We have been opting for the voice of reason, and that voice of reason can only be a dialogue, not a CBDN-made dialogue. A dialogue that Cameroonians should talk to themselves in sincerity, in love, in truth, in reconciliation.
In the meantime, Ndiwul Emmanuel calls for a ceasefire to create an enabling environment for the resolution of the nearly 10-year-long conflict and the decade-old Anglophone problem.
Still talking on rising insecurity, 3 suspected bandits specialized in motorcycle theft and kidnapping have been arrested by the Littoral Judicial Police's anti-crime unit. The gang members, aged 28 to 36-year-old, primarily targeted motorcycle and taxi drivers on the roads leading to Peka 17, Peka 19 and Peka 21. Details with Siri Chakutio.
3 suspected criminals, masters of motorcycle theft and kidnapping in the city of Douala, were caught by the anti-crime brigade of the regional division of the Judicial Police of Littoral. The main targets of this gang, whose members are between 28 and 36 years old, were commercial motor taxi drivers caught on the road heading toward Peka 17, Peka 19 and Peka 21, where they were completely robbed and left to their fate in the area.
During September and November 2025, an organized criminal group developed a method of attack involving borrowing motorcycle taxi to travel to locations such as Peka 19 or Peka 17 on the road to Yabasi. Once they arrived at the destination, with the help of accomplices who were waiting for them there, They rob the driver of the vehicles and all their valuables before tying them up and leaving them in the bush, exposed to the element and potentially facing death.
Thanks to the alert from the population and some victims of these alleged criminals, the Anti-Crime and Research Unit launched a major operation and neutralized the criminals. I took them at Bipanda and I had to drop them by Picard 19 just in front of the prison. When I was leaving them, they hit me behind my back, then tied me up and threw me into the bush. Getting free wasn't easy. Once I freed myself, I escaped from the bush and could reach a nearby police station. Police Commissioner Isono Edu Arsen calls for vigilance from the public, but above all for cooperation between the public and the police.
This is an opportunity for us to call on the population to exercise greater caution when using certain means of transport, just as drivers are called upon to take a number of safety measures when transporting people at certain times of the day and in certain places.
This event recalls the discovery of a mass grave in Sikum, not far from Edeya, years ago, that sparked a wave of national panic regarding the safety of motorcyclists. As for the alleged criminals, they will be brought before an attorney general to respond to their crimes.
And now to one of our major lead story tonight. Overwhelmed by curiosity and anxiety, Cameroonians question what President Pobia meant. In the days ahead, he will be putting in place a new government. 7 days, or let's say 1 week gone without a new government, Cameroonians are anxious to know if President Pobia had a change of mind, or the days referred to by President Pobia could be translated into weeks and months. From Armstrong Sanda is a man on that story.
Such will be the priority for the government that I will form in the coming days.
7 days, or call it a week after, without a government, Cameroonians are wondering what President Pobia meant by "in the days ahead." In the streets of the city of Douala, opinions converge and diverge on what could be happening around this announcement. Prince Joel Mokage is a journalist and political commentator, while Edward Tancho is a Douala-based political observer.
Just like, I would say just like Jesus, who said he's coming soon and till date he has not yet come. I think the government and Mr. Bia, who wants to form a new government, is still planning or maybe seeing into it that he should select the more competent Cameroonians who can at least rule this country, that work with him and accomplish his dream.
The President of the Republic is someone who is very, very unpredictable. It was the first time, I think, for 43 years that he has been president, that he talked about a cabinet shake-up during his end-of-year speech.
Both gentlemen, however, disagree on how long this wait could be again from today. Based on the nature of President Pobia himself, the urgency for the new government and its viability.
I just feel that the president is unpredictable, like I said, and that the days ahead, like he announced, could still be after a month, could still be after weeks. So we just need to wait and observe and see what comes ahead.
The delay might not be that so much because he has to put a government in place so that he can run the country. So people should just be patient and let us trust him. Even for nothing, we should just trust Mr. Bia this time around.
They also have a thought on just how it could possibly be constituted, considering the performances of the current members of government and contemporary realities.
Honestly speaking, we need change, and people have been yearning for this change. And if we should put in new blood into the system, Cameroon will experience this change. We can see it that during this period of AFCON, we have seen a new team that has been injected and they are doing very well.
When you listen to the president talk, he talked about the issue that electricity is a problem in Cameroon. Of course, he already tells you that there is someone somewhere that is not doing the assignment very well. He also talked about waste management in Cameroon. He tells you also that someone somewhere is not fulfilling their engagement. There was also the aspect of the poor nature of our roads.
The current government, led by Joseph John Gute, was appointed on January the 4th, 2019, 2 months after the presidential election of October 7th, 2018.
The report done by Fomi Armstrong Sander ends this first part of the news. Talking Point comes up next. My guest tonight is Song Derrick, a civil society actor, and he'll be giving us his thoughts on the necessity of having a cabinet reshuffle at this point and time. Good evening, Song Derrick. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
Good evening, Emma Fogwe, and good evening to the million viewers of Equinoxe television. Happy New Year. It's a pleasure to be back after spending the festive period. And to the population of Northwest and Southwest region, a special Happy New Year to you, especially the Com people and the fun of Com.
Song Derrick, how's the New Year treating you, especially with the current political atmosphere?
Well, it's quite a difficult one in Cameroon. Nothing is always new. It is the mindset, it is the mentality, it is the method that will make new. But as in Cameroon has always been Catholic, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end.
President Paul Biya, in his December 31st end-of-year address, said a new government will be formed in the days ahead. But it's been a week and nothing's changed. What do you think could be the problem? Is he taking time to choose the right people, or is there another reason for the delay?
When you talk about President Paul Biya taking time, I think in modern day politics, before you go in for election of such magnitude, you already have a team that bears the vision with which you want to share with the population. You already have a plan of action, and those players who will make that plan of action come to pass. So the delay in the publication of the cabinet could be accounted for by many reasons. One of them is the fact that there is a balancing of power complexity. The system they have, the government is really confused who to take from where and put some other place, and changing the government at this time with the political situation is very risky, given that we are in a government of mostly loyalists, people who are loyal to the system, trying to rearrange the same pieces but having the same picture. That is a difficulty. How do we take A from position A to B and take C to, without changing the picture? Secondly, the delay reflects that there could be internal negotiations going on, internal negotiations for appeasement, so that when the cabinet is finally reshuffled, peace will reign within. Remember, even before the elections, there was already a lot of tensions in the government, given that the president-elect, the president has been really absent and has been ruling by proxies. And the fact that he governs by proxies, some decisions are usually made by the proxies that may not be directly from the president. Also, I think they are checking the cost of the presidency and carefully selecting it so that the cost should be well managed.
Now, you have outlined the fact that those appointed are rather concerned about being loyal to the system rather than doing the job they are being paid for. What's your rating of the current government's performance since their appointment in the year 2019?
I think as a faithful Cameroonians and a patriotic Cameroonians should be true to tell ourselves that it has been a very scandalous one. It has been a very wicked, let me not use the word, it has been a very weak performance. Weak in the sense that public services have been very poor. We are talking about electricity. It has been very epileptic. We are talking about roads. It's been scandalous. We're talking about water. We've been seeing the kind of waters that flow in our various houses. And in terms of infrastructure, we have celebrated more foundation stones than we have celebrated the buildings. And let me tell you that the cost of living is increasing. And it is that from 2019 to now, we have had a lot of scandals in terms of embezzlement, in terms of corruption. It is in 2019 we had the COVID gate embezzlement, where the president, by the end of the year's speech, had promised that he was going to bring all those people to book. Till date, they have not been brought to book. We got the can gate, where projects that were estimated for 150 billion ended up taking 300 billion and is still not completed. There's been a lot of embezzlement, and Fogwe, it's sad that Cameroonians don't know, and we are being fooled. If 1 billion francs is embezzled in this country, you embezzle 1 billion and sit in your house, you can spend 1 million every month for 80 years without working. Imagine somebody embezzling 10 billion. And what is the minimum wage rate in this country? It's around 41,000. Meaning that somebody embezzles 1 billion, he'll be spending 1 million, and that 1 million can pay 22 people every month for 80 years. But it is sad that the present government, we have had so little to talk about them. I can rate them a 3 on 10 because there are some good seats among the bad ones.
Now, Derek, the president's words seem not to match the reality on the ground. As you rightly said, majority of roads are bad. Portable water is very scarce, as we have seen in so many reports done right here on Equinoxe TV. And electricity is kind of unpredictable, on and off. Whereas in his end-of-year address, he claims to have handled a huge number of development projects. Do you think the president is not aware of the reality on the ground?
In macroeconomics, when we go to macroeconomics at the macro level, I think when you're talking about the effects how life affects people, one's households are not affected, one's households are not better, then the results are not feasible. The government works for the people. But if the cost of living is increasing, the standards of living is falling, fuel prices, food prices, every day they are increasing, you don't want to tell us that we are living better. Because imagine basic minimum wage rate increased from 36,000 to 41,000. What has been the increase in the prices of basic commodity, in the prices of fuel? It is not getting better. When you want to measure the standards of living of citizens, we don't measure it in speeches. We measure it from the feedback of the citizens. But let me tell you, Cameroonians are nations. Cameroonians are suffering. It is not easy. You need to go to the street. The purchasing power of Cameroonians is falling and dropping every day. Inflation is knocking at the doors. So if the president says that there have been improvement, well, perhaps there's improvement somewhere around Etudi, where he does not live, the palace, and where we are in the grounds, where we live, where we interact with other citizens in this country. It's really been a hard one, and Cameroonians are suffering. No reasons, you can see it, a lot of brain drain. A lot of Cameroonians are struggling to get the basic minimum of money to leave this country, because patriotism is no longer singing praises, it's about telling lies.
Song Derek, Still Society actor, thank you so much for joining me tonight on the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. And it's on that we end tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe TV. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in the company of interesting programs as Equinoxe comes at exactly 7 p.m. with Serge Alain Otto and his entire guests. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.